Yeah, hello, welcome to another update video about Litecoin. Litecoin has moved significantly in the last few weeks, and the chart has broken out above a trend line on the long-term chart, and we've now reached the first resistance area, which is, I think, a good moment to make a video, given that we were ready for an upside breakout due to the wave count that we've seen on the chart that we were watching. The idea is that Litecoin has a chance at least to form one more high, to get a 5-wave move up and reach an all-time high target of around 650 plus. Obviously, as an altcoin, it's fragile, but it's starting to get some momentum here, pick up some momentum, which we already saw the start of a few weeks back. So it's usually, sometimes people, when I make videos like these, they say it's, you should have made a video when when the price, before the price broke out, right? But nobody's watching these Litecoin videos usually, so I don't really cover them on YouTube. But it was communicated on Discord a few weeks back. We were watching this, but I think if you watched the previous video here on YouTube, then you were also aware that we were watching for a triangle pattern. It is still, though, with these triangles, always a challenge to figure out when the upside breakout occurs. Typically, when we have an Elliott Wave triangle, we have an ABCDE structure, and a break above the D wave is a first indication of a breakout. A break above the B wave is a confirmation that would be at $420 up there, but the breakout signal isn't necessarily the time to enter. The breakout signal is typically a bit late. You want to be positioned typically when you see the first signals that things are changing. Now, some of our members on Discord requested Litecoin updates over recent months, so I considered them for updates and did update. For example, in October, I already highlighted that we were in a triangle pattern, but at the time in October, there was no sign of an upside breakout yet, right? But this was the pattern with a projected breakout to the upside. Even in this white count, the B wave was pointing higher. That's always, those are the best, typically the best signals generally, or updates where we are watching for higher prices in both scenarios, where in a bullish and bearish scenario, both are actually allowing for upside. Now that was in October, but then in November, I posted that I am seeing early signals that the wave 5 has started. Seeing early signals that the wave 5 has started, plus some additional info, but this is when it just started, right? And its price was at $85 back then. Now we're at $135, $137 actually. So it's now, I think, when we are in the breakout, it's typically not the best time to enter, at least not from a pullback trader point of view, from a point of view where we say, okay, this is now, let's say, low risk. But you can still do it, obviously, with your, if you have a certain edge, like an indicator you're watching. But from an Elliott Wave point of view, this is now running, and we've actually run into resistance now. Resistance is at 149.60. That's the first key level here. Then we've got 192.91, 225.28, and 291.12. Why is that important resistance? Well, because it is based on the initial A wave. Even if it's the white count, which is the alternative, this will still likely act as resistance, this area. So there are 4 Fibonacci levels to watch that the price now needs to break through to unlock prices in the region of 650 plus. So the yellow count is preferred as long as we're holding support. What is support? Let's go to the daily chart. So support is here. It is the 50% retracement of the rally. It's quite simple. We could maybe even move it a little bit higher, but the microstructure is fairly unclear. I mean, we could probably say we're in some kind of a third wave there, but the microstructure is really rather unclear. So if we talk about the direct move up, you could say this here is a wave 1, this is a wave 2, this is a third wave. We're watching for another 4, 5. Well, and even if it's, it could just be the white count, that's sort of what it shows. But if we're dealing with the yellow count, then it might just form a larger A, B, C or something. But either way, to keep the overall upside momentum intact, the key support is 86.65. Might, narrow it down a little or move it higher a little bit. $97 would be the first signal that the top is in, but we're far away from that now as well, which is why I said the risk is actually quite high now that we've moved into resistance. and the distance to key support is quite far away. I don't think there's a chart that lends itself to micro counting. I think it's important to understand from a macro point of view the key risk areas where things could go wrong, which is here. It is important to understand when the breakout is likely going to fail, which would be a break below $86. Maybe early warning, a break below 97, as I showed you. And yeah, I mean, if this is, if we're talking about, one second. If we're talking about a more bullish scenario in yellow, right, then the initial move up is quite choppy, obviously. So we might consider this indeed in a wave 5 as an ABC. I mean, this would be the pathway higher. Again, I'm tracking it as primary count yellow, but not because white is unlikely, just because down here the reward to risk ratio was quite positive for an upside move. But we have to first see if the price can form 5 waves up. When that's done, we can add the next pullback support area. And if that support holds, then we can watch for this target area to be reached. It's not a guarantee, but if we get 5 waves up, then again, this might be wave C of B or a larger A wave in the yellow scenario, and we kind of do this, yeah. But again, we have to take it level by level because a lot of coins have just rallied directly without any deeper pullbacks, and that's why when there is a setup or when there is a signal that things are changing, it can be worth watching for an entry. At the moment, I mean, if we get a pullback, for example, in this wave 4, then it's worth watching, okay, what is current support? And as we're getting closer to support, when that pullback happens, I mean, that might be the next opportunity. But as I said, I try to make you aware before things happen. So you can pay attention to, if you're looking for a pullback trade, you can pay attention to any pullbacks, and they might be wave 4. And then it's just important to understand, okay, what is support? And then, yeah, wherever you want to stop out, which is typically below support, you can then, based on that, you can calculate your position. But for now, there is no sign this wave 4 has started. But just be ready for it because this third wave has now reached resistance. So yeah, that's the update about Litecoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.